You guys, so I want to talk about this because I feel like this is something that's overlooked and misunderstood and also and often shamed upon with other traumatized girlies. And I'm doing this specifically for women. Like, I know men sometimes watch and, like, I guess, support my videos, but I really make my message for women, women who want to rise above trauma, ascend past, everything that's happened to them in their past, and start to adjust their mindset, their self-concept, and manifest a better life. So it's like, it's not really for men, especially when a lot of men, in my opinion, are the cause or a lot of these things. Like, this is really not a male friendly page, but I mean, whatever, just respect it if you see it. That's all I gotta say. But seriously, I want to talk about reactive abuse. And to my ladies who have gone through situations where they have dealt with relationships that were so toxic, so chaotic, so karmic, to where the guy, let's say the guy, like, is abusive. Let's say the guy is very chaotic, toxic, abusive, violent, things of this nature, very argumentative. Let's say he can be very insulting, very degrading when he's talking to you. Like, maybe he's degrading, I don't know, your looks, your thoughts, your ideas, your body. It can be anything, honestly, that the guy will say to you. Or, like, if he has an addiction problem, like some guys I know with drug addictions or, alcoholic addictions or things like that. It's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde when you're dealing with them. And so let's say when you're trying to combat that side of them, which as a woman, honestly, and I'm a woman that has had to learn this a very hard way, never combat a man, never argue with a man. You are best leaving him, and if you leave him, you need to stay gone. I don't care if you guys have known each other. I don't care if you guys used to have a good relationship. I don't care if you guys were even friends, or close, or friends of friends, or whatever. When the relationship gets to this certain point, there's really no going back. And so then reactive abuse can happen. And when reactive abuse enters the chat, it's pretty much no going back, because the reactive abuse will get you to react out of character, to where you're degrading him, you're putting him down, you're trying to mirror his behavior. Mirroring behavior sometimes, like, it won't teach the guy the lesson, right? Your absence, honestly, because these type of men don't learn. These type of men have been cycling, like, throughout their life, getting worse and worse and worse, and just wreaking havoc on women and people and like people that they know, right? And so, but essentially what happens is there's this consistent pattern of abuse and reactive abuse. And ladies, I am telling you, as someone who quite literally has not only learned the hard way, but I've seen multiple sides of this. Your reactions start being weaponized against you as a means of manipulation and coercive control, to spread a narrative about you, to say that you're, like, crazy, you're psycho, you're, like, unstable, you're, like, all of these things. And if you are a person that has gone through a lot of trauma, like, let's say you have CPTSD or PTSD, or you actually have, like, issues from, prolonged trauma in your past, more likely than not, especially if the guy doesn't want to work on himself, like, let's say he's in denial about his own problems and his own issues, and he has nothing but enablers in his circle who just, like, tell him what he wants to hear, and his family ain't worth shit either, because his family doesn't want to speak up for him, but he'll be able to weaponize things to make himself look innocent and all these things. What's going to happen is that you are going to become a scapegoat in a narrative that you never fucking signed up for. And this is why post-separation abuse and reactive abuse are so high, and the likelihoods of these taking place in these relationships are so fucking high in these relationships, because you start getting in that pattern, in that cycle, and it's so hard to break. But it's really up to you to control your reactions and your responses to him, and anything, and I am talking about anything, that he may do after that relationship is over. Because these kinds of people, these kinds of men especially, stoop low. I'm talking low. I'm talking, they will try their damnness to get a reaction out of you, to get a response out of you, to make you go off, to make you spiral. And it's really up to you to cut the cord, honestly, mentally, emotionally, and focus on self and love yourself enough to not give these people what the fuck they're looking for with their sick ass narratives, but also to love yourself enough to recognize the pattern so you can break it. And if you are a woman who's experienced these kinds of relationships and you want this shit to stop, or let's say you've experienced better, right? Like, No one is worth that bullshit. I don't care who, what, when, where, what time it is. No one is worth it. Okay, especially if you've experienced better. Like, these are the same guys who, when you like cut them off and you're like off happy, they're wondering, how are you so happy? Bitch, because I'm not dealing with you anymore. Like, what? Like, my new person treats me the bomb. I treat me the bomb. You know, I get gifts and things without hearing bitching and complaining all the fucking time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, love yourself enough to break the pattern. So that way, when these people... My video cut off, but essentially all I'm saying is, when they try you again, because they will. Especially the ones who have real ego issues. You know how they say the male ego is one of the worst things upon mankind, and I believe that's also true. Honestly, when these kinds of people are coming after you, it is going to be solely up to you to defend and protect yourself in a way that maybe you're not familiar with, right? Because those same old reactions, using your words or whatever, that's not going to work. Honestly, and if you really ask me, these people belong like up under somebody's jail, or I mean over there in the cemetery somewhere, because these type of people, they're soulless, they're empty, they're low frequency. I know that spirits like this are sent here to teach us lessons, but some people are just so wicked, so low frequency, that to me they don't deserve existence. I don't care what type of tie or what kind of bond or what type of anything you have with this person. Some people do not deserve the air that they breathe because they are that vile. And because of that, you need to learn how to protect yourself, and you need to learn how to prioritize yourself in a way that will allow them to kind of disintegrate out of your life just kind of like naturally, without you wasting your energy and draining yourself and draining your mind and draining your spirit over it. Okay? And as you prioritize yourself and love yourself and pour into yourself again, and you're able to recognize the patterns, the likelihood of you attracting another piece of shit like that are low. Especially if you're just like into loving yourself or whatever, or even if you're just starting to like date casually or whatever it is, like you go into situations using a lot more discernment. People aren't able to pull the wool over you because you're not as emotional, you're not as invested. And after going through these experiences, it's like you start to realize the only person who's really worth the investment is you. Like, no one's really worth the emotional investment, the care, the love, and the nurturing, especially when they abuse it to this extent. So beware of reactive abuse, and beware of the mind games that can play on your psyche. But most importantly, protect your energy and stop reacting, and go within self to stop giving that person the reactions, the response, whatever they're seeking from you, that they're trying to provoke out of you, so you can not only change but disintegrate that dynamic and move on and move forward with your life and cultivate a better one, because you deserve it.